right, we're going to look at some graphs today, and we're going to write an equation, and we're going to write that equation in y equals mx plus b form, or slope-intercept form, based on the graph that we see. So there are two pieces of information that we need. We need our slope, which is the variable m that we see in our equation, and we need our y-intercept, which is the b variable that we see in the equation. And once we have those two pieces, we put them together and bam, we've got our equation. So the first thing I'm going to look for is my y-intercept. So I'm going to look here on my graph and I'm going to see where does my graph cross the y-axis. And I've highlighted it there in that lime green color, and I can see that it crosses at -4. So my y-intercept is going to be -4. Now, what I need to do is I need to look at my graph, and I need to follow the graph until I can see where it crosses at some nice, neat grid lines. So it looks like we've got a point here, and I'm just going to follow it up so I can see where does it cross. And if I go the other direction, I can see it. All right, so I have a couple of points here to work with. So I'm going to go back to my highlighter, and I'm going to use orange, and my goal is to see how does it move from one point to the next. So if I start at my -4, which was my y-intercept, I go up 1 and then right 1, 2, 3. So let me see if that works again. Up 1, right 1, 2, 3. Perfect. So if I go up 1, that's a +1, and then right 3 is a +3, that's my slope. So I went up 1, I went right 3, then up 1, and right 3. That's going to be my slope. So now I'm going to take these two pieces together. I'm going to take my slope and plug that in or substitute that in for the m. And I'm going to take my y-intercept and I'm going to substitute that value in for the b, and I'm going to write my equation. So y equals 1/3 x minus 4. All right, so that's for the first graph. Let's take a look at a second one. So here in our second graph, again, our goal is to put this in slope-intercept form, which is y equals mx plus b. I need my slope, which is my m value, and I need my b, which is my y-intercept. I'm going to start with the y-intercept, and I can see if I use my highlighter there, you'll see that it crosses at -2, so my b value is -2. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to follow along that graph, and I'm going to see if I can find where it crosses that graph. It looks like I've got a point here. If I go to the other side, it looks like I've got a point here. So I'm going to see how I moved from one point to the next. So let's see. It looks like I went down 1 and then right 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it looks like we went down 1, so I'll do -1 because I went down, and then right 7. Let's try that again and see if it works. So down 1, then right 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right, again, I went down 1, I went right 7, so my slope is going to be a -1/7. Your top number is always whether you're moving up or down. Your bottom number is always if you're moving left or right. And you always follow a graph from left to right. That's like you read a book from left to right. So now I'm going to take these two pieces. I'm going to substitute in. For m, I'm going to use the -1/7. And then for the b, I'm going to substitute in my -2. So my equation will say y equals -1/7 x. Plus, whoops, not plus because it's -2. We're going to say -2. All right, we have one more example to look at. Now in this example, it looks a little bit more challenging because our scale is not by ones, it's by 100. So we have to be really careful when we write our slope because we have to make sure that we're talking about moving in hundreds. So again, we're going to start with putting this in y equals mx plus b form. We need two pieces, our slope, which is our m value, and our b, which is our y-intercept. So I'm going to start by marking that y-intercept. I can see where it crosses there. I'll even put a red dot there this time. And that looks like it's the point -500. So -500. It's halfway between the 400 and the 600, and it looks like these things are going up by 100 each time. They're only writing every other line. All right, so I'm going to follow my graph now because I got to figure out my slope, and I'm going to see if I can find where I have some good clean points that I can use. So it looks like there's one there and one there. All right, good. So this one looks like we're going up one and right one and up one and right one and up one and right one. But each time we go up one, we're really going up 100. And each time we move to the right, if I look at my scale here, I'm looking at this, how much it's changing each time here, it's also going over by 100. So my slope is really 100 over 100 because I'm going up 100 and then right 100. Now I can simplify that fraction. 100 over 100 is the same as 1. So when I write my equation, again, I'm going to take my m value and I'm going to plug in the m. I'm going to take my b value and I'm going to plug in my b value. So I would write y equals 1x minus 500. Now, if we have a 1 in front of our x, we don't even have to write that. So we could also write this as y equals x minus 500.